My name is Dan Panosian. I draw comic books. Currently I'm drawing X Factor Forever for Marvel. Louise Simonson is writing it, and I am drawing away like a fiend. When I was finishing up Agents of Atlas, my editor called me up and asked me if I would be interested in working on a new miniseries called X Factor Forever. And as soon as I saw Louise Simonson's name in the email, that was all I needed to hear. Working with Louise Simonson is a lot different than working with a lot of writers working today, mostly because she works from a plot standpoint. Usually when you get a comic book script, it's written like a screenplay. The plot format is what it sounds like. Each page has a page of plot, things that need to be accomplished. There might be some dialogue, like I want this character to say this or that, but it's up to you to work with a writer to tell that story. And so if a writer, someone like Louise Simonson, is as talented in that way, she can convey exactly what she wants in a plot, but also giving enough leeway to the artist to put his input in there. And I think the product, personally, is a lot better because it's collaborative in the ways something like a comic book should be collaborative. I got my start in the comic book world because my father took me to see the Conan movie when I was a little kid. Afterwards, we went to a bookstore, and there was this magazine called Savage Sword of Conan in black and white. And from then I was hooked, and I just started drawing like crazy. And by the time I was 14, I sent in samples to Marvel Comics, and they actually wrote me back, and I was determined that that was what I was going to do. In the 90s, I was working on a lot of different comic books. I'd moved to California. There were a lot of opportunities in advertising, and particularly in Hollywood, doing storyboards or movie design. So I sort of found myself getting out of comic books, and that was around the time when there was a decline in the comic book market. So I started drawing and working in advertising primarily. I started a little studio of my own. Working in the advertising world, you have to draw whatever company's hiring you wants you to draw. In some cases, it's incredibly boring. So I thought, well, I always wanted to draw Conan. I love the X-Men. I love Power Man and Iron Fist and Elektra and Daredevil. All these things that are exciting to draw, all these stories that are exciting to tell visually. And life's too short. So I called up Marvel, and unbelievable comic book company. Right away, I was given work. I said I want to come back as a penciler, and I showed them some samples of stuff I'd been working on, and it's been fantastic. It has been better than when I was working for them in the 90s, and I couldn't be happier. If the future of comic books is going to be strictly on the web one day, and that's a possibility, I think what you need to do is, when you collect volumes, say just like a trade paperback, you collect that in a customized USB flash drive, and maybe that flash drive looks like Thor's hammer, or maybe it looks like Conan's sword. You could have Iron Man as a figure, but he's actually a comic book. The head pops off, and that's a flash drive. The arms pop off, the legs pop off. You put it all together, you collect all the pieces, you have the comic book, and now you have an action figure that you can place on your desk or in your library. From a webcomic standpoint, you can't lose the collectability of comic books. Once you do that and you take that away, you're taking away something very, very important about comic books and collecting. My favorite job of all time has to be the X-Men Origins Sabretooth by Marvel Comics. I love Wolverine. Wolverine's in there constantly. Sabretooth is a fantastic character, and most of the comic book took place in various bars and various stages of Wolverine and Sabretooth's life. And it was a lot of fun. It was an unusual script. It's kind of different from an origin standpoint, but I think it worked, and it was probably the most fun thing I've had to draw so far. Sometimes I'll use myself as reference. I have like a mirror next to the desk, and I certainly don't mind acting all ferocious on the camera to be Wolverine and doing all sorts of crazy hand gestures. That's a lot of fun, actually.